What's happening, So Fam? It is Tarot Tuesday, and this week I'm going to be doing a totally new spread where I'm going to be walking you through the chakras and numerology through all the chakras so you can get a better understanding. And we're still going to be diving into these higher realms of cards that are going to be telling you all about the information that you need to know about this month and the energies that are going to be running the rest of the year, actually. So we're going to start off with this whole entire section, and then we're going to read the rest of these lower chakras on Patreon. So if you're not on Patreon, go ahead and join, support the cause, become part of the member society, and then you'll be able to check out all these other cards. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Send you all my love. Let's get started. All right, so fam, so I'm going to be using my Sedona knife that was made by the Ojibwa. I just love this thing ever since coming back from Sedona, so I'm going to be using that as my pointer instead of my normal wand. So we're going to be reading from this end all the way over, up, and that way, okay? So this is the generalized energy that's going to be your major lesson, not just this week, not just this month, but for the rest of 2020. We have hit this like halfway point in our ascension, so you really have to pay attention to what these cards are going to be saying to you and what they're going to be bringing to your reality, okay? So if you're looking for one-on-one coaching to accelerate your ascension and bring out all of your superpowers, becoming the ultimate light worker, don't forget to set up a clarity call with me. Check it out down below in the description, and let's get started. So over here with the golden deck, we have the the Six of Wands, okay? And it's basically telling you that whatever it is that you were looking for, since we just got out of the Lion's Gate, you are going to get it. Like, you already got it. Like, it's not even that like you're going to get it. It's like you already got it, all right? And you're bringing that with you now into this reality. The major thing is that you cannot forget the people who brought you to this place, okay? So don't forget the people who helped you attain this goal, the people who have been with you for such a long time. Really, don't even freak out if you feel like things are slowing down a little bit or anything like that, because you already have whatever it is that you were looking for, literally. All right, so if you start freaking out right now and you're like, oh my God, is it gonna come? Did I actually get it? Oh my God, and you go into one of those phases, you're seriously going to cause yourself a disillusionment. And you might even, because he's carrying a wand right there, he's saying like, I got this, I came back victorious. If you start freaking out, you might drop that wand and you might lose it and not even notice that you lost it. That's what was really powerful about the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate was to empower you with this high vibration, to allow you to accept whatever was coming for you, right? Whatever was in alignment with your heart and your highest desire. If you truly did your work during the Aquarius full moon, and then going through the Lion's Gate, and you stayed positive and you owned your power and you were serious about what you wanted, bam, 6 has to do with materialism, okay, or matter. So they're saying that whatever it is that you wanted to manifest into matter, you already have it. Like, stop freaking out. You got this. So the next thing you need to pay attention to is the spiritualist, okay? Which then she tells you, hey, you have to come to terms with the terms of matter. Like, the material world and the spiritual world, they have to come into balance, okay? 5 talks about change, and it's telling you you need to change not only your external environment, but your internal environment, right? So that was one of the things I definitely did. I went to Sedona. I manifested whatever. I created my manifestation, really, is what I saw it as. I created my manifestation, and I said, okay, this is what I want for myself and for the world, and this is what I'm going to create. And I put those manifestations at every vortex, okay? And it was very powerful. I felt the shift. And I knew on my last trip back that I already had what I wanted. And even the land told me about it. So here, it's like, okay, now that you have it, you need to just do your part to combine all that spiritual energy that you manifested into matter and have a more smooth transition, okay? And that was one of the things, the last thing that Sedona told me was like, don't manifest again until you're back home in Detroit, okay? So when you're back home in Detroit, manifest, and you're gonna be able to like really pick up things. One of the first things I noticed was like when I landed from Sedona in Detroit, I could just instantly feel like the shift, and like even the differences in spirits that live in the land and stuff like that. It was so like wild. And then when I got home and I stepped into my house, I felt another shift, and I was like, oh my God, my home, it feels so like pretty and bright and light. And like I hadn't realized that, like, because you get so acclimated to a certain kind of energy that I had become numb to like the vibration of my own house. And coming back from Sedona, it was like, whoa. And then that just motivated me to just be like, okay, I'm gonna do more to my house, because if this is why when people come over, they feel fucking amazing, right? Like, because my house has this really zen ass vibe. So I was like, okay, well, let me keep doing stuff like that. And what was funny is like, while I was in Sedona, you know, I bought certain kinds of things to amplify the energy in my house. Like I got an Isis statue and stuff like that, just to make the house feel more spiritual and togetherness. And while I was in Sedona, I even asked, hey, you know, what should I do to like make sure this stays in alignment, which was really interesting. And they just told me, hey, just follow the flow, okay? And when we're listening to that, okay, you have your manifestation, just follow the flow, change your house, change your internal structure to know, right? Changing your internal structure, feng shui, is to know that you already have it, okay? So stop freaking out over it. You gotta be in that Zen space. The macaw, which is my latest deck that my friend Tameka ended up hooking me up with. I just started messing around with it. These are animal totems, and this is called the macaw, or essentially the world. And it brings you new beginnings and sacred contracts and infinite possibilities. The world itself is always saying that like there's something new that you created. Like you technically quantum jumped. Every time the world comes up in quantum science, technically through quantum tarot, it's saying that you quantum leaped. You literally moved from one layer of reality over to the next layer of reality, which is really, really powerful when you really think about it, because that means that you have the opportunity to rebirth yourself at any given moment. Well, let me get some water. And as we can see, it has a bunch of different colors. You need to radiate your light. You need to radiate your change. You need to radiate the fact that you're this spiritual being that has so much power. And owning the fact that you're in alignment with whatever it is that you wanted, like for real, and allowing yourself to say, okay, now that I have it, I'm going to change to be a better person. Now, even though you may not see the manifestation, like some of us have crazy ass manifestations. I know I do. Like mine were like huge. Like I wanted to do something for the world, and I was like, I'm gonna be the person to solve this issue. And I put that in the vortexes, like, and I feel it. It's mine already. So like, what do I have to do to align myself with that? All I have to do is let the flow hit and let me keep going in this direction. I'm just going off of what I'm feeling right now. Okay, so you really need to be in that position of like, what do I feel? If you follow me, if you're friends with me on Facebook, or you follow certain threads of mine, like I shared my experience in Sedona this past week. And it was so powerful because it allowed me to really see that you should not sacrifice yourself for anyone else because they don't have your strength or they don't have your authenticity level. You should not take no for an answer from yourself or from anything in reality, because you're in tune, and when you push yourself past your extremes, you will find like the answer. And most importantly, that everything is magic. Like there's so much magic out in the universe, and like you don't see it because like you're not trained to. But right now, just trust me when I tell you, like, give into the magic. If you don't give into the magic, it's gonna be so much harder. My life during Sedona was so magical that like it literally made so many things easier because I was able to see it and witness it and be in it and just say, okay, this is all I gotta live. And it was so powerful, and it allowed me to change multiple aspects inside of myself and like in my reality, just to be like really real about all the things that were happening there. So it's this moment where we've transformed. Okay, it's not even that we're transforming right now. We transformed. And if you think about the infinity symbol, you know how the infinity symbol goes back and forth and then it like crosses in the center, right? Well, the cross center is literally the first card. Like we crossed that center. We are now, like, if you were coming from one side of infinity to the other, right? Like we crossed the center of it, and now we're in the present moment, because what we wanted to create in space-time is now the past, but in time-space, it was still in alignment with what we're experiencing. Space-time and time-space are two different things. That's something that Sedona really taught me powerfully. We don't really think about it. Space-time incorporates like the time that we know. Like it takes you 15 minutes to get to the mall, right? Time-space is saying that like there's no time. All possibilities are in this moment, and you pick one of those possibilities, and then that becomes like the materialized how long it takes you to get there. Now, I definitely noticed that when I was in Sedona as well, driving around. Like I was able, even like from like Phoenix to Sedona, I was able to bend time because I wasn't really thinking about like the clock all that much, more so where my vibes were at, right? And I made that really clear with everyone that was with me. So again, you got your manifestation, let yourself change. Your new world is here, all right? So stop freaking out. Now sit down and fucking relax. Like he's sitting down on his throne, okay? You need to relax. Put yourself in this vibe of saying like, hey, if I got this, let me sit in this matter and let me just like really accept it and just be there. And then, as you can see, he's looking at the world. Like he's looking from this aspect over to the world. So it's like he's already embraced his vibration, and it's all coming through very powerfully. So allow that to merge. Like if you've been wondering, I need to make this purchase on something, but I don't know if I want to spend the money, right? Like you need to be able to put yourself in that position of saying, okay, right now I'm being told that I have to do it. And we all have positions like that where we don't want to spend money. We don't want to do things because the state of the world, or like, you know, how we've been conditioned to grow ourselves based off of our stories. You're not that person anymore. You're the only person that's been telling yourself that you're stuck to that past perception of yourself, and you're not embracing the new. Like no matter if you went through some shitty twin flame stuff or you had a horrible childhood, like you're not that person. Those events don't define you. You're the only person that says that you have to live in that fashion and be haunted by that. Okay? And now that you have your manifestation, making sure that you sit with that manifestation, okay? You have to sit with it and own it. All right? Both of these characters are owning their magic. They're owning the fact that we won. We got this. This is mine. Now let me balance my mind. He's particularly meditating on it, right? He's still coming home saying, I won this. He's on a horse. He's like, I won this. This is mine. I brought this shit back, right? And he's now at that king level where he's like, okay, I'm at home. I have it at home. So like, now what? You know, and he lets his mind open up and relax, because what he was trying to get is no longer a priority for him. That's how his world shifted, okay? And that's why his environment has to shift as well, because he brought that home. He needs to let the environment shift and let his world transform as he reflects back onto this, okay? So if you guys can't really see this card, just in case, like he is legit looking back at all these other cards, okay, saying that it's mine. One of the main things you need to pay attention to with the alligator, 5-0, again, we have another 5, okay? 5 is basically telling you change again. 50 is telling you change times 10, girl. Like, get that going. No excuses. You have to, it's not even about like making things obsolete. It's about making boundaries, okay? What's something that I seriously learned in Sedona that was crazy? Because I never really noticed that I had a boundary issue with like how I was experiencing life with certain kinds of people, and like just like how I normally like going to the store, I had a certain kind of boundary issue. Like hanging out with people that I don't know, I had a certain kind of boundary issue. Getting hit on by a hot guy, I had a boundary issue. So like I was just kind of like, what? Like, and it was so like constant. It was showing me like where I had to be conscious of that and like change the boundaries themselves. And those boundaries have to be towards anything that does not make you feel empowered, okay? If you do it in love, you can do anything in love. That was another thing I learned while I was in Sedona. You can do anything in love. It's only the person who's on the other side of your vibration of love and your expression that is going to interpret whatever you say to them as a negative thing, right? Or a positive thing. If that person, when you shoot out love, interprets that thing as negative, is because there's a portion inside of that person that is triggered by your radiance of love and stating that you are putting these boundaries, you're accepting it for yourself, and now you're going to share that with another person authentically. That triggers people subconsciously. And I saw that so many times. It was so crazy. Water. It was so crazy because I was like, I'm not going to bend myself for anybody. Like, I'm going to communicate what my thoughts are and how I feel, and I'm going to go with the flow, but I'm not going to change what I know is going to keep me at my happy place and what's going to keep me high vibrational. And all I did was that. I just focused on that. And that was like very crocodile energy. Like, a crocodile is very motherly. You know, the crocodile has like this ferocious strength, right? And it stands its ground. But then it also asks you though, like, what areas of those experiences, especially after going through the Lion's Gate, are you not fully grasping? Did you miss anything? Make sure you didn't miss anything, right? As you're accepting those powers, what were the bigger lessons behind what happened during the Lion's Gate this last week, right? Like, what happened to you? And it can be so different. Like for me, I definitely realized that I had manifested like a situation 2 times over, which is like really crazy. Like I still had not learned my lesson from the first time that this happened to me in December. And like now I went to Sedona and I manifested it again because I needed to teach myself like, hello, wake up. You don't need anybody else like to like do anything. You don't need anybody else to fucking travel by yourself and just be zen. Because I always had this fear of like, oh my God, you know, I've always been that guy, that kid that like essentially is in his house all the time and he has this little like space where he doesn't ever have to leave home and whatever, you know, like that's always just been me. I grew up like that my whole entire life. And even though I traveled the world and I trained in different places with different gurus, I was still kind of like at a home base all the time, you know? So it was like, it was very scary for me to say like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to travel into the world and do something different that I've never done before. And for a while I was saying like, I can't do it by myself. I can't do it by myself. I got to do it with somebody else. And the first time it didn't work out with that person. Like ties had to be cut, essentially, karmic ties. The second time it happened again, and I went for it, right? And on that trip, I was like, whoa, I would have had a totally different experience had I just come by myself. That's not saying that my experience was bad either, but it would have been, I became fully conscious of the fact that it would have been way more powerful because I would have felt completely like self-sustainable, and I also would have felt completely at my speed and my vibration without having to consider anything else but me and my adventure. And it was so crazy because I kept hearing it. I would go to like medium shops there. They have really cool like shops that are for healing and stuff like that. And there's this one that I really love. It's called Sacred Elements. It's like the place I always go to. The girl's Brazilian, the owner. She's fucking really cool. And everybody in that space is just, they have so much power. And they'll just talk to you and naturally they just start channeling without realizing that they're channeling. and they tell you things that you've been needing to hear. Like one girl just randomly told me, you know, I should have traveled by myself. And it was weird because I could feel my mom's energy coming off of her. And I was like, damn, that's exactly what my mom would have said to me. Like, I knew better and I should have gone by myself. And I didn't do it because before I decided to go with anybody else, I was thinking of going by myself. And I decided not to do that because it was an easier route to go with someone else and it wouldn't feel as intense. I think I really should have originally gone in that direction. And that's to say, like, listen, I'm still, you know, I'm ascended in many areas and in general with my consciousness, and I still make like faulty like mistakes. Like it happens, you know? So it's not about beating yourself up. It's about like looking back. Like I said, like looking back on like what happened during that time. I was in very uncomfortable situations that I would never be in had I gone by myself. You know what I mean? And that was another thing that really, that was super eye-opening. There are some spiritual people out there that they want to portray something that they're not, and you need to be really fucking careful about that. Like, they may have abilities, they can help people and stuff like that, but they may not be the resonance for you. And it's just so, it was very eye-opening because I, like, being on that trip was just kind of like showing me, you know, if you're not authentic with yourself, you're going to keep running into inauthentic people, right? People who are not doing things for the highest vibration of everyone involved because they're not living their life like that, right? And also they have a lot of things that they carry that is going to somehow rub off on other people with them noticing or maybe without them noticing, you know what I mean? And one of the things that was really interesting, and like it was funny because I was walking through certain areas, and it kind of came through like this meditation that I had with like my partner through astral space, where I realized that there you know, everyone's calling Karens out there, right? Like there's the Karens of the world. Can I speak to your manager? You know what I mean? Like those types of people. Well, and you never really think about like that a Karen can be like, there can be spiritual Karens, right? That like they have the ability to do certain things, and they're like powerful, but the 3D is still cutting you off from experiencing a higher realm of reality because you're carrying anger and you're carrying entitlement and you're carrying like something is owed to you, and you don't want to put in the effort to be the highest vibration that you are because you keep finding excuses because you don't want to actually put the work in. No matter how much work you've actually put in, you haven't pushed yourself to actually get to what you want because you're being lazy. And there's nowhere on earth that is going to change that for you. There is nothing that you can buy yourself that is going to change that for you. That has to be this thing where you recognize that you need to push past your boundaries. You need to create boundaries in general to like sustain yourself, especially now that you're in your creation. You need to have boundaries, right? But then you also have to break down other boundaries that you created for yourself. You need to create boundaries for other people and other areas of your reality and break down other ones for yourself, okay? While I was in Sedona, I barely ate any sugar. Legit. This wasn't a thing that was in my life. I didn't smoke any weed when I was over there. Legit. Wasn't something that was part of my life. I made those boundaries. I came home and those things were the first things that came at me, and I decided whatever. I didn't watch no TV while I was over there either. I came here yesterday and I was like, no, I'm not going to be watching TV. I saw how much powerful, how much better I felt not having these things in my life because I went on my solo trip, right? So that was it. And I felt powerful too, recognizing that, okay, it's okay for me to say no. It's okay for me to be like, I love myself enough to know that like if I get into this, it's not going to turn out positive. And as a conscious creator, as an alchemist, as someone who knows about higher vibration that we each inherently know, even if you think you're weak, you're very strong. You're the only person that calls yourself weak because I'm not calling you weak. Think about that, okay? When we're going through these limitations in our lives and we create excuses and we don't break past our own barriers and we don't go past our own will, we're never going to really understand what true growth is. And you have to be able to say, no, I don't want to do this. And sometimes a no is a simple not having to talk to somebody. That's another thing. Most people are afraid of confrontation. You don't have to confront everybody with everything. You just need to hold your own vibration. And your vibration literally will take care of everything. Your vibration will literally like expand itself and be this thing that like is conscious in the unconscious. And life is just going to vibrate around you. But you need to be willing to say you're restructuring the boundaries of your world. When you go to, this is like war energy almost, okay? And I think that's why I felt like grabbing the knife today. Like, this is literally war energy. You went to war with yourself and the rest of reality and the collective consciousness and the crazy cosmic energy that was coming out of there. And then you got what you wanted. It's manifested. Now you're coming home and you're like, whoa, I gotta like go with the flow. Right? Because you quantum leaped and you're in another universe now. Like, little do you know, but you're now in a full alignment and you need to shine in that vibration. You need to accept that you already own it. You're going to let your vibration be fully changed because you're in a new world. You can't be an old person that's not even on this reading spectrum, okay? If you want to become the new version of you that's going to accept the higher manifestation that you've already created. That's the only way to go. By the same way, you need to be able to like dismantle boundaries, create boundaries, say no, and be able to reflect on all the shit that happened to you, you know? Especially being aware that like, you need to protect your vibration from doesn't matter what. Are you a spiritual Karen? Are you one of those Karens that's bitching about something all the time, but you're not actually fucking doing anything to like have a higher vibration? Are you costing yourself extreme growth because you're at this position where like you just won't push yourself because it's not convenient? You need to be fucking everything that you are. There's no more like who's waiting for you other than your own disappointment. Literally. Like, you need to move. Get off your ass and move. Push yourself. Go to the gym. Like, I was walking through Sedona and there were times where I felt like I was fucking gonna die. Literally. Like, so many times that I was gonna die. Where I was, like, high up in the hill, like, in the mountains, climbing, like, with no gear on, where if I slipped, I was screwed. Or I was in extreme heat, where with no water, and I just felt like I was gonna pass out. Like, it was powerful. I had to break past those boundaries. I had to say, like, I'm not going to let my own fear be in my way. And at the same time, while you're creating that, while you're recognizing all these details, pay attention to the people who are around you, too. You can be a spiritual Karen, but you might also have people who are being spiritual Karens, too, right? And you might not be a Karen, and you might just be, like, this higher vibration, but you're still too afraid to push yourself. You need to come to peace offering with all of that. That's why you have to reflect on that. To come to a peace offering, you have to reflect coming back after your war. Peace offering is recognizing that no matter what happened on that trip, positive or negative, it was a creation that I made. Doesn't matter what happened. I created every element in that hologram. And it was all to remind me of something that I don't want to fucking be anymore. Something that I'm not, that I've been saying to myself to make myself feel comfortable. And it was like looking in a mirror, legit felt like looking in the mirror and being like, whoa, this is happening again. How do I change to get out of this? And that was it. I came to peace with it. I didn't blame anybody. I didn't get in a fight with anybody. I didn't leave anything to coincidence. I recognized that I was the creator of every element, and I had limited myself to have certain limiting experiences to show myself that I had to push past that limitation that I had been creating for a while, and also force other people to do it as well. whether it was, being able to say no and finding peace with saying like, I can say no and just be okay with that, or being able to say that, I've been lying to myself, or I put myself in a situation when I knew better, or I'm not actually gonna die because I wouldn't have put myself in this position to just die here. That wouldn't have been what I have created for myself at a greater scale. It's a very powerful vibration. You need to come to peace with all of that. You need to come to peace with the fact that, man, I have my vibration, dude. Like, I got it. My world is shifted. I don't have to fucking worry. And as you're shifting, you're gonna notice things are gonna try to pull you back, and they don't have as much weight as they used to. That's all because they don't. Like, you don't have to be that person anymore. You're not that person anymore. So be okay. Come to peace, understanding that you're not that limited version of yourself anymore. That's powerful. And reflect on the fact that shit, you made it into a new paradigm where the world is now changing around you because you made that shit happen. You put the effort in there. The deep blue dragon is saying it keeps you safe by clearing your pathway. Okay, so you're safe. Your pathway is cleared now because you understand this. And if you continue to do what I'm saying, it's going to continue to protect you. The dragons are protecting you. So you need to trust that you are protected and walk on the path of light. You are literally walking the path of light forward. As long as you continue to understand that there was a fork. There was a fork that said, old earth, shitty version of you. Another version of you that's not as dope as this version of you. 3 different forks, okay? You chose here, okay? You wanted to walk this one when you hit the fork. And look at what you're doing. You need to be at peace with that and understand that you're in the highest vibration that you can fucking be in. It's amazing. And I just decided I'm going to be talking more the way I talk, because I get more into like this Zen space. Even my guides talk to me like this because it's real talk. Like, I like real talk, and that's where I'm going to put it into you, right? I had to accept that too. Cerebus Bay, the Ascended Master, is basically telling you need to release the creativity that you hold in your heart, all right? So you have a bunch of creativity, embrace it. From creativity comes solutions. From creativity comes growth. From creativity comes like these crazy opportunities that you never would have created otherwise. Like, most people are afraid to create, embrace their imagination, be silly, have fun, and just live life. Like, and not complicate things. Choose not to complicate things. A lot of people complicate things. And if that's the case for you, like, you need to get your shit together. Life is not that complicated. For real. If you go to a restaurant and they don't have something, that they offer you, that they can offer you that's on the menu for some fucking reason, right? You need to be able to say like, oh, this is happening for a higher reason, like, whatever. Maybe that's not what my body requires right now or something like that. And be able to evolve past like being triggered by anything in that experience. You need to be able to not let the illusions of matter trigger you into having a bad time in your life, because life is so much easier, especially when you recognize that things are happening for a reason because you orchestrated it to happen that way. That things are happening for a reason to teach you something greater. That things are happening from your heart space, your quantum heart space, which creates magnetic waves that magnetizes things to you. Literally. It's the vortex that we talk about. It's this powerful energy of realizing that you're the creator. You need to stay in this heart space. If you found love for yourself, other people, stay here. And, it's going to be hard to be here because your insecurities are still, changing. That's why we're still sitting down, reflecting back on the crap that's gone by and saying, like, we're not that version of ourselves anymore. We understand, we grew. We're creating new boundaries and we're okay with it. All right, and we're at peace knowing what we have to do because we're protected while we continue to do this. I don't know about you, but I would rather be protected than not, by being in peace with myself and opening my heart more now that I have what I want. You need to be that person. Why? Because this is the pathway of the high priests and priestesses, which is like the mysterious revelations of the gods, really, right? And Isis is basically telling you that's coming from your heart space. Isis is also really huge on the heart space, the divine mother, the divine energy of consciousness. You have to be at this space of understanding that you stepped up. Like, if you were a commoner, dude, you are a shaman. If you were looking at yourself like that. If you're a psychic, dude, you're a medium. Like, you upgraded that shit. If you're just an alchemist, well, hey, now you're a priest. Like, get it moving. You got this energy. It's all about you, okay? You have to continue to move forward. The final card is the Antojai card, which is from the Yang deck of my Clow. And it's basically saying that you're balancing the harmonizing energies of reality. Like, if you look at it, half of them is like white and half of them is white and half of them is like human-y. So human version, his spirit version. Okay? Spirit version is integrating matter and spirituality in this present moment. Being at peace with that, being protected, the Antojai energy, the cravings of life. That is what it's saying to you. That right now you're in this harmonious pathway of love and light. And you just need to be here because you're godly. You came out that portal boss level, dog. Like, you're so powerful. Like, straight up. It's amazing. You should be giving yourself, you should buy yourself something on Amazon right now. For real. Give yourself a present for being bomb. You just came out this, okay? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take all the decks, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them over. And we're going to read the other lessons that they want you to know. So the first half is basically what we've done, right? And who we are now and what's happening and what has happened and will continue to happen and what we have to just hold on to, like this piece, right? So when I flip all these other decks, they are going to be basically telling you some sort of information on the things that you need to pay attention to at a subconscious level, okay? See you in just a few minutes. Let me flip these all over. All right, so fam, so I flipped over all the decks, and now we're going to be looking at the subconscious aspects of the conscious aspects, okay? So these are the things that you really, really got to pay attention to, because these are your traps. Where the other reading on the opposite side of the deck is what's happening, what you accomplished, like you were able to pull a lot of things from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. Now this is what's happening fresh in the spiritual realm, okay? So we're gonna still start off right all the way right there, okay? So this is this is the High Priestess, and basically she's basically telling you, go ahead and recognize that right now you're going through a vibration of duality, okay? So whatever duality is happening for you in this moment, that's got to be what you focus on. Understanding that there is a death and a birth process, as we saw in the previous reading, okay? So you need to be okay with the fact that that's what's happening right now in your life. And with every polarity change that you shift from, there might be some things that make you feel uncomfortable. Just because there's a little bit of uncomfortableness that summons itself when you make a reality shift does not mean everything goes to shit. A lot of times people are like in this vibration of, oh, well, you know, like, but everything was going amazing, and then you hit this point where like it just doesn't seem like things are going exactly as planned. That's because, you know, that's to come with whatever vibration. You're still surfing. Think of it as surfing. Sometimes you need to learn how to change the way you surf so you can be more efficient at doing it, okay? This next one is the One of Shields, and the One of Shields comes up upside down. They're warning you specifically, don't get caught up in matter, okay? There's going to be a little bit of a delay with what you already attained. So we already know that what we wanted is coming. We just have to sit with the fact like, oh crap, I own it. It's mine. It's coming. It's here, right? And just continuously holding that energy. When you can hold that energy particularly, you're going to notice that like you'll go impatient. And if you're going impatient, you're going to lose. Remember, patience is key right here. This is going to be the major thing that you're going to be really focusing on, is patience and the duality of understanding that when you're in the middle of being zen with yourself and you understand that, like, you know, duality is necessary for you to get to the next level, matter can't interrupt the flow of what you're doing, okay? The butterfly is next, and basically telling you that you're evolving, you're transforming, you're getting a new like revitalization. And this card is really good for people who are in tune with their ancestors, okay? So butterflies were literally everywhere I went when I went to Sedona, and I was talking to the ancestors. Very powerful energy. You should definitely go with the flow with that one. Everything that's happening right now is for you to transform. On the opposite side, we had the macaw, which is telling you like embrace the transformation, and then we had the butterfly, embrace the transformation, okay? Here we had the spiritualist, which was talking to us on the opposite deck about how, you know, we need to come to terms with like balancing the spiritual world with the material world. And in here we had the Six of Wands telling us, hey, you know, we have what we looked for. It's ours already. There's nothing that needs to be like focused on other than, you know, accepting the fact that we brought it home, right? And that comes with a duality, right? The duality of recognizing that you may not have the matter right this second, but you still have it, right? You may not have the full manifestation of it, but it's already right here, right now. That's the transformation. Your consciousness has to transform into embracing that vibration. Here we had the king on the opposite side, who was meditating and looking backwards upon all the accomplishments that he just did from the Lion's Gate. And here we end up having 20, which is basically judgment. The final judgment is what you're going to allow yourself to create from that duality, right? Just because you shifted and you got your manifestation doesn't mean that you're done doing your work. Like, you got to keep the momentum going so you can get what you're looking for exactly as is. The badger particularly comes out, and the crocodile was on the opposite side. So the crocodile was telling you, hey, create boundaries, be real, speak your truth, cut out negative people out of your life, right? And don't let nobody like stop you. You know, don't be a person that's limiting, right? So then the badger is telling you that you need to have aggressive energy. Like, aggressive energy doesn't need to mean that you're gonna blow other people out of the water, right? Like, you don't have to be mean to people or anything like that to get to where you're getting to, right? But like, the best healers are the aggressive healers, the healers who are not willing to take no for an answer, the healers who are like, yes, I'm gonna push myself past my limits, past my thresholds. That's what any like light worker, psychic person, whatever, that's what this is all about, okay? So like, you need to be aggressive with this energy and say that you're gonna go after what you want, and you're not gonna take no for an answer, and you're gonna cut any like old wood, like dried leaves. You got to get rid of everything that's no longer serving you, like the way you believe yourself to be, the people you've been hanging out with, like whatever it is. The judgment is now, like the transformation's coming, and that transformation can be easy for you, it can be really difficult for you. You're the only one that's going to be able to fully have a final say and determine what that's going to be all about. Next we have White Terra. And White Terra is basically telling you, you know, you need to be in this position of understanding that you need to purify yourself, right? Here we're saying the last two cards in this deck were telling you to purify yourself. This is a transformational purification, right? And that last spread that we did on the conscious realm was also a lot of purification. I don't necessarily remember who was on this side. Oh yeah, peace offering with White Buffalo was on the other side. So you need to, again, in the last reading, you were told, White Buffalo, come to peace with all the stuff that happened during the Lion's Gate. You transformed, you're in this new layer of reality. Don't lose that aggression to protect that shift, and understand that like the final judgment is that you're transforming, and that things have to shift in the world of material in some way, shape, or form. So don't feel like and patient, and understand that there's duality that's playing effect here. This is all to purify your life. Right now you're going through this major purification stage in your life because you've made that quantum jump, okay? The butterfly is also basically telling you made a quantum jump because it is transformation. Then we have the blue dragon from the Pleiades, and it's basically telling you that it's preparing you to accept source healing, okay? So accept the heart activations that come to you and give and receive heart healing to the people who are coming to you. And that's definitely something that, I was doing when I was in Sedona. I was like really just vibing out and I'd walk around and just send people silent blessings and just be like, I hope you found what you're looking for. I hope you're like, you love your life. I hope like things make sense for you. I hope you just have a good day, right? And when I was last year doing ayahuasca, I had a very similar experience where I would just want other people to like find what they were looking for. You need to be there. Like as you find what you want, like wish that upon others and send that to others. That's going to be really opening for you because it makes it easier because you're saying that's all you are. That's all you're ever living your life as. Mother Mary comes out and she tells you that you need to connect to the wisdom of the Great Mother. So right now is a moment for you to like really just embrace all the energy that's coming. These two are very powerful star energies, okay, that are coming through. White Terra is a multidimensional energy that's coming through, like, so you can balance yourself and purify yourself. The badger and the crocodile and the other animals and all this over here is just straight up saying, this is what you gotta work, like, this is what you gotta know is gonna be like the hardest thing for you for the rest of the year. But this is what's up, okay? The Temple of Carnelian, which is tied to Sekhmet, a lion goddess. The Lion's Gate. Carnelian is a royalty stone. Carnelian reminds you that like you are very powerful and that you are capable of doing great things. You can become famous if you want. You just have to align yourself with that vibration. Sekhmet is all about war. Sekhmet is also about like protecting. She's the sun. She doesn't care, if you get blinded by her radiance, because the sun doesn't apologize for being the sun, right? Like you need to be who you are, whether it's a cosmic body, an ancient Egyptian deity that's incarnated in physical form, a freaking alien from another dimension, whatever you are, own it. Own that vibration. And if other people don't get it, who cares? Let them like do whatever it is that they got to do to align themselves into a parallel reality that will allow them to be with beings of similar vibration. If you own your godliness, you will come into contact with the gods, essentially, okay? And that's where we go ahead and we connect to the wisdom of the Great Mother. What is your Great Mother going to tell you? She's always going to guide you to tell you to be who you are, to do what you need to do, to like continue to be everything that you are. I tried to connect to my mother while I was in Sedona, and that's pretty much what she was telling me. Keep doing you and don't give in to anybody else, no matter what's going on. That was a very powerful time for me to like prepare myself to receive like the healings that were coming through while being in the land and purifying myself and then standing my ground and knowing what I wanted to do next, right? The final card is the maze. The maze is tied to the soul. And on the other side of this was the Antojai card, which is the cravings of life. And the maze is basically saying the soul. Like now you're stepping into the cravings of your soul. We're no longer dealing with just like baseline things that are in front of you. If you get caught up in this weird vibration of just being like, oh, I'm dealing with, matter, you're going to lose track of what your soul actually desires. What does your soul want? That's what you're going to get, okay? As long as you protect it and you choose that to be the final judgment, that you are only going to transform, that you're going to be patient, that you're going to work with duality to purify your life so that source can purify your life, okay? So that the grandmother can help you channel source in a powerful way to be everything that you are. And the more you work that way and you hold this vibration over here, this soul energy is going to translate through everything that you're doing, and you're going to pull out a ton of powerful magic in your reality. So this is the reading for YouTube. Sending you all my love. Tell me how this resonated. Post your comments below. I want to read them and I will get back to you. And don't forget to give this a like and subscribe. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching with me, go ahead, check out the descriptions below. If you want to read the full chakra spread, which is going to be the major lessons that you're going to be dealing with for the rest of the year, and it's going to be really intense this week and this month, join Patreon, where we're going to be doing the second half of this reading. You'll be able to check out all the juiciness in there, and you get to learn the violet flame technique. I am teaching how to do the violet flame technique, which is the age of Aquarius energy, or the golden age energy. It's very powerful. It aligns you with Saint Germain and like just letting go of things that no longer serve you. It's such a powerful, beautiful energy. So if you're looking to, up your Reiki game or anything like that, just become a better alchemist and just have a cool community of people, like definitely join Patreon. Like, support the cause, be part of a beautiful community, and grow in ways you never thought possible. I'm sending you all my love. I'll catch you in the second half if you're on Patreon.